Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Brendan, and I'm here with John today. Again.
Again. What do you call it when you kill friend? Homicide.
Oh my God.
And this is how it happens, ladies and gentlemen. This is how it
Yeah,
happens.
he's starting already. He's poisoned my beverage. It's starting to get a little tight in the lungs. I don't know.
uh,
Cool.
so,
Well,
oh,
please.
yeah, I have nothing of importance to talk about. Just a lot of things of uh, silliness. I've been really appreciating Jackie Chan recently. Yeah,
Yeah, love that guy.
showed my kid um a movie I hadn't seen before with him. I think it's Operation A. It's a
Okay.
Chinese movie. It's not one of the Hollywood ones. And when you see the Hollywood version versus the Chinese made films,
Mm.
it's crazy the difference. Like you can see him doing, and a lot of people doing all of these stunts for real. They never break frame. You see the whole thing. These guys take big falls. They fall from high up. They're in chaotic situations. They're crazy. They're
Yeah.
nuts. In the Hollywood versions, they break away, they break frame, and I don't know how these guys do it. I guess I understand that story. You hear like that he's broken every bone in his body. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that. I'm like, yeah, he does that crazy shit, and you
Yeah,
know it
just
because his
just
body's broken.
his body's broken, but the dedication of that guy and the ability to blend this high level performative athleticism. He was trained in the Chinese ballet since he was a little kid, forced to do it,
Yeah,
whether he wanted to or not. And then combine that with so much humor and comedy. It's like he just makes it as one thing, and he always fights at a disadvantage. He never just has like or very rarely does he just have like a straight fight. He's always handcuffed, or his shoes are tied together, or he's he's suspended upside down, or something stupid. It's he always has to fight his way back to a base level.
yeah,
Um, it's just I think it's very clever. I think it's great, amazing stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think one of my favorite videos with him is the Drunken Master one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's spectacular.
Yeah. That's one where he has to put himself at a disadvantage just to have the advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I really
So,
enjoy those ones. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
and recently, like we were saying before, I enjoyed watching the video put out where Peter is clarifying the story about
Right.
Bruce Lee and Wong Jackman. Wong,
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the fight that they had and the supposed outcome versus the real outcome. And I'm sure that'll be controversial for people who listen to it, and people will
Yeah.
have
For
different
people that are,
opinions about it and stuff.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Peter's told me that story. And also, I mean, he tells that story every so often, but
Hmm.
it's not something that people know about. But what people, you know, yeah. Peter was Wong's student and was there
His best
when,
student, right?
yeah, his top student.
Yep.
I mean, as far as he knows from excuse me, I'm getting over being sick. And yeah, so he's told the story about how Wong fought Bruce Lee, and then the people that, say like Linda Lee, who benefited from that fight. I think she even
Hmm.
wrote a book.
Hmm.
She was not in the room when that fight
Hmm.
took place. and
Mm-hmm.
there are only I think a couple people in there, and so there's like a lot of yeah. It's interesting to see how the stories get skewed over time, and it becomes you know the legend is never the reality,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know
And
that
people
have
have
anything
stuff
really.
to gain.
Yeah, people have stuff to gain about from that, and then one of the I think Peter put it in there, but one of the things because he might call Wong's integrity into question because it's like here's this guy because like Wong is the guy in the movies they when they do the movies about
He's a bad guy.
right he's a bad guy and he's the guy that apparently denied Bruce Lee teaching the
Right.
you know white
Chinese martial
guys
arts to non-Chinese people.
right
Yeah.
and then Peter's like hello I'm a white guy. Wong didn't give a shit. He would teach anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't care. And so
Yeah.
that's like one thing there, which it's like again in the movies, they say that guy like broke, in the movies like broke his back in one of the
Yeah.
movies for teaching to the wrong people. It's like no, that's false right away. And then Wong wanted to he didn't care about money. He cared about he wanted them to tell the truth about what happened, and they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't do
Mm-hmm.
it. But they
Mm-hmm.
they did agree to settle out of court.
But he didn't accept it.
He didn't accept it. He's like, I want you to publicly say, yeah, he didn't accept a large amount of money
Yeah.
that they would have settled out of court about this whole controversy. Ergo,
Mm-hmm.
admitting that they lied.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
being like the Bruce Lee camp was in, they're misrepresenting. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't want the money. He just wanted them to say it. And they never
Yeah.
did, for one
Yeah.
thing. So he's like, it's not
Yeah.
about the money. And so anyway, it's interesting. Interesting stuff. So yeah, Peter put that out there. And
There
he
it
also
was.
said he did it for Wong. Even though
Yeah. Peter put that on there for Wong.
yeah.
Yeah, which that was what I really appreciated about it. I think maybe the most is like Wong had his reputation totally unfairly tarnished,
Yeah.
and um, actually was from Peter's portrayal. And I don't, I mean, I understand it is hearsay. It's hearsay from Peter, but I'll go on a record and say I have a lot of confidence in his account
Yeah,
and
me
his
too.
understanding of things at those times, and I don't think he's misrepresenting anything at all. And even from my own meager understandings of martial arts, I don't see a whole lot of if you got yeah, Wing Chun people don't kick, they don't grapple, they
Yeah.
they do trappy stuff with the arms, and it's pretty short. I'd put
Yeah.
a good boxer without kicking up against the most Wing Chun guys, and I definitely put a good kickboxer up against most Wing Chun guys, like a good Thai boxer. Now I don't think Wong was doing Thai boxing, but I saw the footage of Peter flying around and doing his kicking routine, and he could kick in
Yeah.
addition to having hands, you know. So I think it would have been tough for Bruce back in the day if he was still
Just
limited
doing
to
Wing
just
Chun.
Wing Chun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it would have been tough for him.
Yeah, and apparently I think they made an agreement before the fight. And and here we go. It's like I'm gonna conflate things probably, but it's like
Well, people can watch the thing. They can we
yeah,
can
watch the video. That'll tell you.
and it's got great footage. It's got a whole lot of really cool footage of Peter doing martial arts back in the day. I had just from some of that footage. I mean, I've seen Peter do a ton of stuff. I gained new appreciation for the skill that he was demonstrating just from seeing him play around back when he was in his 20s and 30s.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I guess because people wouldn't see that nowadays because he's older. But yeah,
Hmm.
no, he used to be young. He can move. He can really fucking move.
Yeah, he could really move.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anybody move like that.
yeah, yeah. No, it's really good stuff. It's really
So,
good. And then after the fight, apparently Bruce Lee changed his whole fighting style.
mm, mm,
Now, does that sound like somebody who won a fight? You know,
mm.
if you want to fight, fighting the way that you fight, there's no need to change anything really.
Yeah, you probably
If
keep
you
it.
want to, yeah, probably stay the same. But to make some big changes and then start doing some kicking stuff. Yeah. Anyway, watch the video. It's like yeah,
Yeah.
here's a kicking routine that Wong used to teach me. Here's Bruce Lee doing that same routine. I wonder where he got that from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, cool stuff. Excuse me.
Mm.
Yeah,
There you go.
doing good.
So what else is on the docket?
Cool. Well, I thought so. I go bike riding with Peter, and he'll talk to me about politics.
Mm.
And I get fucking tired of listening to all this political. Like, I am certain kind of news informed because of all our riding around. And then I listen to this stuff that I'm like, I try to remain ignorant about politics now, and the news in general. I don't give a shit really. I mean, I do, but I don't. And one of my challenges with that is he'll say stuff. I'm like, that's pretty good. How about instead of telling me who doesn't care, let's tell more people because maybe it'll get to somebody who could, it might actually make a difference in a positive, powerful way.
Okay.
And so I was talking, I'm like, look, as much as I hate listening to you tell me about your political ideas and views and how stuff is in the world, why don't we do something about it?
Alrighty.
And, you know, so he wrote something actually, and I think probably because I said this. Now, this to me also tells me that my previous statement about me not caring is incorrect because I actually care enough to want to like share this with more people, which is what we're about to do. And so he wrote a document, 7 principles to become law in order to save democracy. If democracy were under threat, you know, maybe our country's not as powerful as it could be democratically. Here
Mm.
are 7 principles that would empower democracy according to, and oh, one of them is a principle I came up with. So 6 from Ralston, 1 from Brendan.
All right. So we've
But
got
which
a
is actually
scorecard going.
right. We
6
should
to
put a
1.
scorecard, which I think, but this one is actually from Ralston because I think I heard it from him. So they're all from Ralston. But I brought it
Alrighty.
up in the conversation. Number 1, so 7 principles to become law in order to save democracy. The purpose is a more powerful, functional democracy, a democratic system. 1, get all money out of politics. No politician shall be allowed any monetary gain from any source, directly or indirectly, during their term of office, except their government salary, and for 8 years after leaving office. For 8 years after leaving office, they shall not be allowed to use their time in office or connections thereof for personal gain. This also applies to all family members and friends who cannot personally gain from the fact that their relative or friend is in office. This applies to the President of the United States in its entirety.
Okay.
So,
So when I look at that, I think, okay, fantastic idea, because that's gonna remove so many of the bad reasons that people get into politics,
Yeah.
at least in the United States. And especially that line of, shall not be allowed to use their time in office or connections thereof for personal
Hmm.
gain. So what I want to go is like define personal gain, and I assume
Yeah.
they mean financial. Um,
Yeah, and likely this is a rough, and that stuff would need to be worked out. But
yeah, because how to actually enforce that over, 8 years, and people could, I could see people abusing that, saying, oh, you benefited in some way, you're a bad guy or girl or whatever for something. I could see that going the other way too.
yeah, and
But
I
yeah.
could see it potentially turning extra bureaucratic, but or
Hmm.
and yeah. Well,
But
how
yeah.
much how if that was reasonable and
Hmm.
reasonably executed, how much bullshit would that take out of the system?
Hmm. Hmm.
Get the money out of politics. Money, all money is out of politics. Why? Because as far as I can tell, I bet politicians get tempted when you're a politician, you got a family, um, somebody wants a vote to go a certain way, a company has an interest in a law being passed a certain way. They happen to buy you and all your family cars.
Yeah.
And your vote went a certain way. To me, like if there's anything in that neighborhood, which I'm sure there's plenty, the politician is not doing their job.
Hmm.
They're lining their own pockets. You're not for the people, you're for yourself. And fuck you if you do that. If you're a politician and you do that, fuck you. No. Yeah. You're weak. You have no integrity.
Another way to do it would be to go after the people that are trying to bribe the politicians.
Yeah, I thought that of the lobbyists.
Yeah.
I'm often upset about the politicians. I'm like, why don't we just put the lobbyists' personal information on blast? Because those are the
Mm.
motherfuckers that are turning the deals in the back rooms. That
Hmm.
Do you know any lobbyists? You know their names?
Mm.
They're the ones that are operating, as far as I can know, operating on behalf of, say, the big corporations that are, if there are, and I'm sure there are, big corporations doing shady shit. I have no problem with big corporations if they're doing good things. But that stuff in the background, that's not for everybody in that sense. It's like serve the people.
Hmm.
I'm with that side of things. And nobody knows the lobbyists, do they?
I know
They're the
I
ones.
don't.
I don't know any
But
lobbyists.
but it's a little bit like, going
They're
after
not
drug dealers and going after, drug users, so to speak. Like the lobbyists are the dealers in a sense. The politicians are the users for special favors and for extra money and
Yeah,
things like,
yeah,
you see what
yeah.
I mean? Something a little bit
So
like
how
that.
do you resolve that?
I think it would be an ongoing battle. I think that would be I mean, first of all, having it in law makes it official, and it's like, okay, here's the battle line. So that's what Peter's laying out in
Right.
that.
And
So
then
having
everybody
that,
tries to break that's how it
and then
always goes.
it would never be, it would be a fight. It would be a continuous fight to keep people from fucking with the system, because they would never stop trying.
Right.
It would never stop. But that doesn't mean that you couldn't diminish it substantially. And the first thing that you would do is you'd have to make a law. You'd have to
Yeah.
make a rule. And then what you said, I share that fear, because I think over bureaucratizing, uh, the world is kind of the way things are going in
Like
that
it,
direction,
it
and it
yeah, it
just,
goes, it has to balance because it can swing one way or it can go like It
Well, it
can
just
go
makes
toward
things
like too much money in politics or no money in politics, but then a shitload of bureaucracy. And it's like, how do we
yeah,
balance it out
yeah,
without getting
yeah.
too bureaucratic? Because then things
And
slow
and
down,
those
and
and
it's
those
like that's a pain
people
in
who
the ass.
are those people who are getting paid to have those bureaucratic jobs to hold people accountable, who
Right.
holds them accountable?
Yeah, that
So
gets
this is
that could get
so this
wonky.
is this is not a solution in the sense that it would provide a perfect bullet like, okay, now it'll be okay. No, it won't. It would move the battle line, and it would move the fight to a different place.
Yeah. Yeah, and then as you're talking, I'm reminded again the title is Seven Principles to Become Law. And then what, again, it's like there's this story, and I think George Washington will come up later on in this thing here. You know, George Washington, they say he started the thing where you're a president and then you step down.
Yeah.
So you don't end up with a dictator for life. You don't end up with a king. You don't end up with any of that stuff. He actually didn't start that. He got it from a Roman emperor named Cincinnatus. You can look that up. Cincinnatus was a guy, I guess he was an emperor at one point, and then he was a farmer, and then the country needed him. So he stepped up, served his people, and then went back to farming.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the title of this document, Seven Principles. And so what I take from that is like, it's the principles that get fucked up. If we adhere to the principles, which is to say, that is like making a law for oneself, I am going to act within these parameters because that's the thing to do. That is a decision that we make and have to continually make that decision in order for those results to occur. See, but people, it's also easy to not do that, fall off the beam, take the bribe, you know, sacrifice your own integrity because you're feeling greedy or some such. That's the norm. And so making the laws are in service of the principles. If we could just enact the principles as a whole, it would solve the problem. But we're people. And we see what people do. They're greedy. They lie. They act in their own self-interest. I mean, we are driven to act in our own self-interest.
Yeah.
That's just the norm. So then we need some, basically in my mind, we're stupid. as a group, we're pretty dumb. As individuals, smart. You put a
Well,
group of
I
people in
think
a
that's the
situation.
idea that I think the founders of the United States pretty well understood that. I think that's
Yeah.
why they designed the government to have checks and balances. It's, because they were counting on people's
Yeah.
selfishness more than their selflessness. Um,
Yeah, you can count on people being selfish.
but you can game any system. So no system is going to be the plug and play fix. But let's continue on, because I think that first one is a great idea. It's just, of course, like probably with everything, it's going to be the devil's in the details.
Yeah, and this is like the rough outline. Okay, number 2, gerrymandering districts shall be outlawed. No congressional district shall be created to benefit any party or group. Independent commissions shall create all district maps following agreed upon universal rules of fairness without partisanship and drawn to make districts competitive and serving the people of that district in a single location. Districts should be made according to number of people, but are drawn to include the counties and communities of a single. Districts should be made according to the number of people, but are drawn to include the counties and communities of a single area. No wiggly lines or unusual shapes are allowed, but instead a district should be mostly simple rectangles or squares as close as possible to include the proper number of people given census data.
Mhm. Yeah.
No messing with the boundaries so that your party comes out on top. It represents the people evenly.
Yeah,
No brainer.
well, I don't know. I think it sounds like a no-brainer, and I have thought about that because I've seen maps of congressional districts and they're insane. You
Yeah.
see them and they're like, you know, yeah, they're really twisted, strange affairs, and I know lots of deals go into that. But again, the solution that is being offered is to have an independent commissions, and that is therefore another group of people who are now it's their responsibility to make sure that this stuff has integrity, and that's essentially it's an additional office that is also itself corruptible. So it's again, it's a
Right.
great idea, but you're demanding both of these ideas so far require more government.
Yeah. And it also requires it's funny, it's
And
reminding me
who are these people going to be, and how do they get their positions?
yeah, I kept this reminds me of I think I tried to solve a problem that is aligned with this way back. I was young. I was thinking about how there's like nights and I'm sure there are a lot of nights that weren't good, but there's like the knights, they're doing what's right. But then how do they, if somebody gets corrupted, how do we fight corruption essentially? Because it again, it relies on the individual deciding that this is the right thing to do and I'm going to do this because it's right, not be, and then what if somebody tries to pay me to sway my view? Am I going to crumble? And it's like that decision is an internal one. Like no
Mm-hmm.
law can stop that. I mean, maybe it can clean up a bunch. I'm sure actually it would clean up a lot. Because, sorry, dude. It's like, if I do this, I'm going to face consequences. I won't. And if the consequences are make my life worse, I won't. But that's again operating out of that same, in my mind, childish framework because I'm just avoiding punishment. I'm not doing the thing because I decide to do it. I'm avoiding punishment. And
Yeah.
then I go, it's like somebody else made the rules. I just hang out. But it's like that internal decision power is not that's always the weak point, I think. Is am I I feel like I'm
Well,
rambling a
no,
little
it
bit, but
is
it's like
to me this is
that's
it
what's
sounds
needed.
it's the conundrum of all forms of authority and government. At the end of the day, someone is in charge.
It's a person.
Someone has the power, a human
Yeah.
being or a group of human beings. Human beings are human beings. So, however we make the rules, we're never gonna get away from that problem.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, it's like one of the best forms of government is a monarchy. If the king or queen is really, really good until the next king or queen. And then you have a big problem. you know, there's
Yeah.
no check like Cincinnati.
I assume it's Cincinnati, and that's where they get Cincinnati,
Yeah,
Ohio from.
yeah. Well, he's so sounds like he was a great guy. He stepped down. Okay, good. Did the next guy step down? No.
Yeah.
So we have democracy, and we're going to try to get it working right, and we're going to try to keep it working. I want to keep going. I think it's a very good point. I'm
Yeah.
just pointing out that this is a never-ending fight. It's a struggle.
Yeah, because things can break down, and it's the yeah. I guess I keep seeing the problems here. I keep seeing the challenges. So far, I am all about these first 2 points. Let's get the money out, and then stop fiddly fucking around with the boundaries for your own personal gain. If the people in that area don't want you in, you're out. That seems more democratic. Oh, I'll make it so that my party gets in. It's like screwing with the. It's not accurately representing the people anymore, in my opinion. Okay, number 3, the pardon power of the president shall be strictly limited or eliminated. No president can pardon anyone he orders to take illegal actions or anyone from which he, his family, or friends will benefit from in some way. Also, the president themselves shall not be immune from prosecution for illegal acts or acts done for his or her benefit that harm the country, and he or she cannot pardon themselves. Also, the president can't fire any government official or worker that aren't working at the White House itself, that isn't working at the White House itself, or haven't been appointed by him or her. Also, the president can't fire any government official or worker that isn't working at the White House itself or haven't been appointed by him or her. Is that making sense to you?
Yeah, the president can't fire any government official or worker that isn't working at the White House itself or hasn't
Hasn't.
been appointed by the president.
Okay, yeah, he can't just
Yeah,
fire willy-nilly. Okay, or he or she.
yeah.
He or her shall only have hiring and firing powers over his cabinet and people, or hers, whatever. So him and hers, I'm just going to say him.
Do you know
Um,
how a non-binary person kills someone? They slash them. It's just easier than this him slash her stuff, or less sexist. I don't know. I just thought I'd put that out there.
He/her shall only have hiring and firing powers over his cabinet and people who work directly under him or her, not career government workers that are doing a competent job. If such workers are to be fired, it must be done by their direct boss and only for illegal acts, incompetence, or inappropriate behavior. As always, it must be confirmed that the U.S. military cannot be used within this country against its citizens ever. They can only be used to assist in emergencies like natural disasters, and then only to help the citizens and never to police or war against them. The National Guard can be used sparingly to protect people from others breaking the law and creating widespread physical danger to population and property in general, but not to do acts that should be done by the local police, unless the local police are incapable of handling the situation, and then only to assist them and to back them up. Strict rules of conduct and the terms for use shall be outlined that conform to best practices.
Okay. So this one has two major statements limiting the power of the executive branch, major limitations on the president, and then major limitations on the U.S. military.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that just seems, yep, pretty straightforward there. Yeah, I have stuff in my mind. I imagine, say somebody and a highfalutin politician, they get busted for a crime that for somebody normal, like, I don't know, in Texas, it used to be a big deal if you had marijuana. You could get put away for a while. But if somebody who had a lot of power got busted for marijuana, would they get put away for that same amount of time? Probably not. I don't think that's fair. I think it should be kind of the same across the board.
I don't think people should go to jail for marijuana.
Yeah, I don't think people should go to jail for marijuana, period. Come on.
I think the president should be able to pardon those people.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me started on the marijuana laws. I bet there's some funny business there. Like, how did marijuana? Anyway, it's just that stuff gets weird, man, and that's not what we're talking about. So, okay, cool. Number four.
Well, no, there's a lot of stuff in here, buddy. I can see that there are a lot of people that get put into government who are appointed special cabinets and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah,
and they get put into power by the president, but they also get put into power by the Senate and Congress. And many of them have ties to corporations,
right.
regulatory bodies of all kinds, and uh, there's a lot of corruption in there. And I think that if you just leave it up to the people that put them into power to fire those people, then those people can stay entrenched indefinitely because like they were already put into power by the people who it was in their interest to put them in. So
Oh, I
you
see
see
your
what I'm
thought there.
saying? So I'm not so sure that the president shouldn't have some powers to fire people outside of the White House. I'm not so sure about that. I'm also not so sure that, the Congress or the Senate shouldn't have some power to call into question at least some of the people that the president picks. And maybe the judges should decide. But so I'm not clear on that.
Yeah,
I get it. You don't want the president pardoning. You don't want the president pardoning him or herself or others unjustly
right.
and just using that as like a magical get out of jail free card,
Right. That's
to
one thing.
pardon his
Yeah,
friend.
let's
You
not do
don't
that.
want that. We
Yeah.
don't want that. But then again, you have it also happening with the other branches. You have other branches creating bureaucratic cabinets, or not cabinets, agencies and things like that. And I think the executive branch should have some ability to check that because that stuff creates yeah, that's my bias. My tendency is like I tend to want to go like, all right, how can we do this with creating as little additional
Less
government
government.
stuff as possible? Because we already have huge amounts, so much more than we did when we started. Like
Yeah.
with the best intentions, people have created so much more. Government is so much bigger per capita for the United States than it was at the founding of the country by
Yeah.
like orders of magnitude.
Yeah.
So I would be very careful about stuff like that. And then the
Yeah,
second
I see your stance there.
And then the second thing about the military, I think that broadly speaking, that makes sense to me. You shouldn't have that the U.S. military be used against U.S. citizens ever.
Yeah.
But then again, you also have from time to time very violent riots, and
Yeah.
then yeah, you might need to call in the National Guard and get those things brought down to something manageable for the local police
Yeah.
and
Which was included in there.
states also have their own state police, and like Texas has a freaking army from what I understand.
I don't know.
There Yeah, there from what I understand there's a Texas army. So there are other that's one of the things that I like about the United States is there are many different local uh, police departments and law enforcement and military-esque organizations, and they represent a smaller jurisdiction, but they're more connected to the local people. And like when you converse that with France, like there's there are three. There's the national police and the gendarmerie, who are essentially like the same thing but different jurisdictions.
Yeah.
And then you have the local municipal police, but the local municipal police have no power. They can't even carry guns. They can
Yeah.
pretty much just write you parking tickets. It's just and you combine that with people don't have the right to bear arms, and you're trusting that the police are going to um, basically be the good guys in all
Yeah.
situations. And a lot of people would disagree that that's what they do. And there you go. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and the problem is a complex one. The
hmm
principles are simple. The execution maybe not so
I,
simple.
yeah, execution not so simple. I tend to go with like, you know, maybe this is just crazy, but I tend to go like, make sure you keep the Second Amendment. Make sure the people are armed so that at the end of the day, the no matter whatever the military organization, everybody thinks twice about really having an organized war because I just think I just feel safer when call me crazy. I feel safer when everyone's got a gun. I just
Yeah.
I think let everyone have some power.
Yeah, yeah, I understand the sentiment with that. I mean, I own guns, I understand that aspect. And then and we're getting off topic. If everybody has guns, then the amount of gun deaths that you have are
Yeah,
staggering. And so that's the challenge.
yeah. Well, you
Or that's
go
one
to
challenge.
countries where they don't have so many guns, and there's still gun deaths, and there are also a lot of deaths from stabbings and from poison, and for people running each other over with their cars and trucks and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I'm yeah, but
I
I
would that
think
we could
it's
do a whole deep dive on the actual numbers for all that stuff too. Like anyway,
yep,
we're getting into fucking blah, 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 other
yep.
topics. I hear you. Got it. Yes, I think it's good to have the government be balanced because like that's why the founding father, as far as I know, this is why the founding fathers did the Constitution the way they did. They understand that government can run amok, people can run amok. Why? Well, government is people, and people have challenges. At the end of the day, it's all people doing stuff. So that we're trying to mitigate that. So I get it. I hear you. So number 4, and the electoral college shall be eliminated, or failing that, it should be decreed that the same percentage of delegates shall be awarded each candidate's percentage of votes so that the vote counts for everyone.
hmm
Yeah, no brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because the
think
if
yeah.
if I'm as it stands now, if I'm in a place and I know, like, it's whatever, it's 99% one side, 1% the other, and if I'm in the 1%, and I know that there's an electoral college, it's that my vote doesn't count because it's just going to go all that way no matter what.
hmm
It's not based on a percentage. It's not the popular vote is not the same as who wins the election.
Right. And but so okay. Yes. Countries change with the times. And if you look at a map of the United States and you have red, blue, and purple states, that's a very, very low level of resolution. If you look at it about where the Democrats actually live, where the Republicans actually live, it's very clear. It's not state by state. It's urban versus rural.
Yeah.
Highly, highly urban versus rural. Urban environments are dominantly blue, and rural environments are dominantly red all across the country.
Yeah.
And as populations shift and more people move to cities, the country becomes more blue, effectively. Um, I think we have to look at, I think there might be reasons to keep some version of the Electoral College, perhaps. And my thought is this:
What for?
um, when countries get dominantly urban, I think that's when they're getting close to death.
How
Because
so?
from what I understand, that's what happened to Rome. And you have people becoming increasingly less grounded. Like
Hmm.
people become more and more connected to things that are just more and more abstract and less connected to things that are, yeah, grounded, like the production of food. And that actually causes, um, you know, lots of problems. So I think that the the relationship between the people that are actually growing food and are actually being like closer to nature and the relationship between and them with the people that are in cities, they they need to have a respectful relationship with each other. It's very hard to do that when they're demonizing each other, as is commonly happening in the current cultural environment.
Right. That I think speaks to the issue that we have with some of the division. As again, I'm speculating here, but it just based on my understanding of people. Yeah, you get the city because like I live out in the country and I talk to all kinds of people. You know, the yeah, those fucking city people, fuck them. And then city people are like, yeah, those ignorant country bumpkins or whatever. And it's like, guys, both of you need to shut the fuck up and get along because no, you're divide. Like, there's different people live in different worlds, and there's not like, okay, you city person, you're talking all fancy. All right, you go out in the country and go handle stuff. And that country person is going to have intelligence about that environment that you don't have, and you will wish you fucking had it. And they're going to look at you like
Yeah,
that dumb motherfucker. And the
like
same with the country person. You go into a city, you're gonna and you probably don't even want to go in the city. I hear you on that one. And that city person is going to have all kinds of understanding about their environment that's not yours. So
so
why doesn't everybody just shut up about their
but
fucking stuff?
also about voting, and I get it. This is like kind of going off track, but it's connected. Who should vote? Who should have the right to vote? I think, and some people are going to think I'm whatever. I don't care.
This is John's opinion.
And yeah, this is John's opinion. I think voting should be related to your productivity in society. I think that if you don't have a business or you haven't served in the military or you haven't shown some kind of real productivity over time, then your right to vote is questionable. I mean, you look at like the ignorant country bumpkin who's been working on their farm for, I don't know, half their life or whatever, or since they were a little kid, and maybe they're not as well educated as somebody who's writing a book that they never publish and is living off the government tip um, for the same amount of time. Some very intellectual person who's actually not producing or doing anything good, and who's extremely critical of everything. I say that living in France, but I notice there's a ton of people living here
Hmm.
who live kind of perpetually in and out of um, government subsidy. I mean, for
Hmm.
years and years at a time. And they vote typically for people that are going to try to give them even more benefits
Right.
from the government, which just seems to create more, bureaucracy and slow things down and make it even worse. And meanwhile, the people who are living in the country are paying huge gas prices, growing all the food for the country and the rest of Europe.
Yeah.
So, like, I think about, okay, what kind of a citizen are you? You know,
Mm.
and what should there maybe some maybe we should increase the requirements for voting in terms of like education or productivity and
No.
so forth.
Yeah.
And that's not a very popular idea because everybody wants their vote, you
Yeah.
know? And I think it was Socrates who was not a big fan of democracy because he said eventually you're going to have like the dogs and the donkeys. You know, you just start giving away the voting age used to be 21, you know. Anyway,
Okay.
and don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about, you know, women or minorities or whatever not having the vote. No, I'm talking about how what kind of a citizen are you?
Yeah.
So I think that that all goes into the whole electoral college thing. I think like what kind of people are we allowing to vote and what are they voting for really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have not looked into your opinion there or your viewpoint, so I don't have much to say about it. What it stirs in me is I want for us to be united. And part of that is like, look, dude, you might be in a city, but that dude's working his ass off to grow your food that you eat. You want to have some respect, or like, oh yes, I have a high paying tech job, yeah. That motherfucker over there built your computer. I mean, we obviously outsource that to other countries, but it's like have some respect for the people who are building the house you live in, because that's a whole level of understanding that you don't have, and it gives you the how about the guys, like I know a guy, he's a lineman. They keep the electricity running. You like your computer? Have some respect. Let's respect each other.
Hmm.
I think that'd be good. And then yeah, if there is some way to incentivize what you're taught, like being a part of a team instead of for the
Hmm.
individual. There's a principle there. What are you producing rather than just me, me, me? And then also, um, again, it's like there's principles there of what what kind of person are you? And
Hmm.
if there's a way to incentivize us to be better people, let's do it for the country,
Hmm.
not just me. Because right now it looks to me like we're saying no, just
Hmm.
me. Like your French people, and it's easy to live off the government in France.
Easier, yeah.
Easier, or whatever. See, and then there's consequences there. Oh, right, right, right. And then the last thing was the education of the people. Somebody said in order for democracy to work, you need an informed electorate. You need to know what you're voting for.
Yeah.
You need to know what's what. If you don't know what's what, like what you're casting a vote for what? That's not very transparent. In fact, it's quite challenging to sift through all that stuff, and nobody likes to sift through that crap. As far as it's like,
Yeah. But it's okay because now we just have ChatGPT
yeah, that's
and
accurate.
that's gonna take care of everything.
It will. It's going to be accurate 100% of the time.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Why try to save democracy when we can have government by large language models?
yeah, let's just do that. So there are several more points, but I think I would like to stop it there
Do a part
because,
two.
yeah, we could do a part two because I've got some things coming up and I should handle that.
Okay.
So that's it for today. Stir up the comments.
This is a good episode for lots of comments.
Yeah, lots of comments. Put your opinionated trash down there. Put your opinions. Oh, no, no. Put your well educated commentary in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead and comment. I know we're going to get a mix of stuff. I would like your comments to serve bringing us together if possible. I would like your comments to serve what's true, if possible. I would like your comments to serve empowering democracy. How do we empower it rather than destroy it? I mean, if you want to destroy it, that's your prerogative, but I'm not for that. I'm not taking a stand for that. Have your comments be in that direction, please. Let us know. Or just do the normal internet trash that you are likely to do. Okay, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one. Bye.